this is my, these are my intake plenums, and the issue I was having was the car was running terrible at idle. And so I took the intake manifolds off. This was the third time, and I didn't check this before because I didn't think the problem was here. But if you look at this gasket, I had, when I took it off, I had this on there. I don't know if it was a manufacturing error or if I just didn't clean things off and this just got pressed on there. But anyway, I had a little bit of a gap on the intake. This is the bottom where it meets the basically the head. The way I found this was I was spraying Carb Cleaner around the engine as it was running, and when I would get up in this area, the RPMs would speed up just a little bit. I tried using a propane torch to find if I had a vacuum leak, but that didn't work. But that was the issue, and put some new ones on. I tried doing a Felpro this one because I wasn't sure if it was just that this bimetal, this two-piece metal one was just leaking. Again, I didn't know that I had this issue on there. If I would have found that, taking it off, I probably would have just kept this one and just done it again. I ended up putting on a Felpro one. The car is running great now. It's idling just like it should be. It's doing everything that it should be doing. Again, before, this was a valve cover job. Put it together, went to start it up, and it ran terrible. It almost died. It would barely run at 750 RPM. Anything higher, it was fine. I mean, it wasn't fine, but it was better. And then above 1500, it ran great. And if you think about it, this makes sense, again, because I had this little air leak running at a low idle. You're getting more air mixture in compared to a high idle where it just can't suck up that additional air in so much, and it's getting so much other air that doesn't seem to bother it. But I was getting random misfires on all cylinders. I was getting system too lean. I think I can't remember a bunch of different P codes, but all of them related to this one issue, a leak on my intake. So make sure your intakes, when you put everything back together, it is clean. So I spent a lot of time cleaning off all the metal surfaces, all the mating surfaces, just to make sure. I used a little Blake cleaner and paper towels and cleaned and cleaned and cleaned, and it's running great. Here's my 4Runner running. Now, sounds like it's about 750, 800 RPM. Before, it would just chug, 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 and die. The offending area was right down here, right down at the base of the intake is where I was getting a leak. Spraying Carb Cleaner right down there. I could get an increase in RPM. That was it. I pulled the sucker off 3 times, maybe 4 times, trying to figure out what the issue was and all I was doing was just replacing the valve covers. So, make sure that when you put this thing back together, don't do what I did and spend an extra, I don't know, 10, 12 hours trying to diagnose all kinds of problems, all because of this tiny little leak on the air intake. Yep, look at that. 750 RPM. It's idling just great. What a difference. I was so devastated after I'd done the valve cover job, went to start it up, and it was running terrible. But time, patience, troubleshooting, and everything works.